Another mic. That might work. This one does. So you were the first audience on this continent to see the sadness. What did you think? Absolutely. I can guarantee this is a film people are going to be talking about decades from now. I'm really thrilled we're able to have it for you tonight. Without further ado, please give it up once more for writer-director Rob Jabbaz.
Thanks a lot, man.
All right, we'll break protocol.
Thanks a lot. That was great.
You're very welcome.
Yeah, man.
So where do we even begin? I mean, I guess from the beginning. Do you want to talk a bit about the genesis of what became the sadness?
It was really practical. Like it's not like it was a long, what do you call it? Like a long time in the making. It was just like the financier of the film, Jeffrey Huang, God bless him for opening up his wallet and financing the film with like Ethereum and cam girl profits and stuff, just like internet money.
Right.
And he just independently financed this movie because he just figured, okay, so COVID hits and then Hollywood's closed, so we should just make a movie right now, and it should be kind of about a pandemic thing. And so then it was like, write something. I was like, okay, so I wrote something in May, then in June and July we sort of did pre-production, storyboarded, shot it in August, did special effects, edited it in whatever's after that. September into October, and then November did special effects, and then December kind of, whatever you call it, dotted the I's and crossed the T's or whatever, and then put it in theaters with very little fanfare in Taiwan for January 22nd.
That is a very odd strategy.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense at all, but like it was a learning experience, that's how it happened. It was just kind of like, and then sort of like where did the idea come from? Like, I just figured we didn't have a lot of a big budget, so I thought I should just try to make it vulgar and cruel, and just like those are things that are free, so that it's not like special effects or like big hordes of like huge big spectacle. Just try to make it really nasty and really like kind of disturbing, and then hopefully that'll make it kind of rise to the top, or whatever, get like kind of pop up, and so that people will notice it.
Well, yeah, a film like this, you don't need enormous budgets, you don't need stars. The film is the star, the content is the star.
Yeah.
And it's the kind of film where whether people love it or hate it, they sort of have to talk about it after seeing it.
I hope so.
Yeah, I can assure you.
Yeah.
I just love that your producer was like, I made internet money, what can we make? The sadness, it's what the people want!
Yeah, I think that he envisioned something a lot different. He envisioned something a lot more like Train to Busan or something,
Oh.
But at the same time, like, he used to be a pop star. He used to be like a rapper in Taiwan, and then he's just a kind of a shrewd guy who was able to parlay the money he made there into, he was an early sort of adopter of crypto and stuff, and I don't know if people know wealthy people, but like, they have hobbies, and when they get to a certain age, they're just kind of like, I just want to do stuff that I love, and they're worried more about legacy than they are about just like, whatever, making money or paying the bills. So the guy doesn't mind dropping dollars, to make a film like this. And he was, the pushing to make things really fucked up, we're coming a lot from him too, like he was just like, nah, fuck it, show it, it's like, don't, and I was fighting with him like about like the
eye socket,
the ocular sexual assault scene. Right. He's just like, nah, fuck it, show it. And I was like, no, I can't. If I show it, then like people are just gonna roll their eyes. They're gonna be like, oh wow, look at this fucking edgelord, Like I have to kind of rein it back and be tactful with especially sexual violence stuff. Like I can't show it, or else like the audience will just be like, oh wow, you're fucking cool, dude, And so it's all intuition. Just try to feel it all out. Yeah.
No, but it's always about finding the right kind of a balance, and I think focusing on the other characters' reaction shots and making it last as long as it does, and having so much sound design over it, it is really ferocious. I mean, it still plays almost as strong as if you were to actually see it. And I agree that if you were to see it, it would be so extreme that it would almost potentially come off farcical.
Yeah, exactly. Like it comes like, and that's that's not really a problem, because we both love. Let's just take, for example, something like the Ebola syndrome, right? Like, we both love that movie, but all of those movies there's always this like blanket of just sort of immature, goofy humor over top of all of it, and you know, if you talk to like those directors at the time, they're like, oh yeah, we did that because we wanted to make sure that the audience wouldn't feel too bad. We didn't want it to be too fucked up, you know? And it's like, no, actually that makes it more fucked up because it's almost like the director and everybody who's making the movie is like, this is funny. Like raping this old lady is hilarious, or like murdering these children is so funny. And it's just like, it puts you in kind of a weird position as an audience member, you know?
Yeah, it almost feels flippant.
Yeah.
That was one of the most disturbing films about those Category 3 films. They throw in like almost Three Stooges bits and like goofy characters. I mean, you always had the character that you would call, or that they would call, you know, Fatty. And you kind of had Fatty here.
Yeah.
You know, my nose. I mean, that character is right out. He's a fatty from those Category 3 films in many ways.
That dude's pretty fat.
Oh, but I mean, it's a character type that they always called Fatty as a character, right? You know what I mean? Like the audience may not know what I mean now. Yeah. I'm not even talking about body size so much as character type.
Yeah, I know you. Like for example, Run and Kill.
Oh God,
yeah. like Run and Kill stars Fatty, and that's a really good one. That's one that people don't talk about very often, actually.
Incredibly, there was a short-lived Fantasia video label in the VHS days that put out Run and Kill and Red to Kill.
Oh damn, Red to Kill is.
You can't release that today.
For all you lovers out there, if you wanna for some reason not have sex with your girlfriend, watch Red to Kill together, and it's just like fuck this. Like,
was it made by school bullies? Yeah. I mean, it's
and again,
a fascinating film to show to people, though. Oh man, is it a great film to show?
Yeah, I mean, it's just like, you know, this is amazing, but at the same time, there is that sort of like, haha, this is a joke sort of thing throughout the whole thing, and you're like, this is fucking crazy. Like, anyways. That's what I'm trying to address with it. Like, I wanted to just strip all that away. I just wanted to do something that was a little more, took the material a bit more seriously with the sadness. And that was like kind of the clear goal the whole time. Like, that was kind of like something that like wasn't an accident. Like, it was like, we need to, all of this stuff is awesome, but if we just take away the humor and we just try to treat it really seriously and like responsibly, I guess, for lack of a better word. I think it'll be like kind of better, and it'll hit, and it'll
has severity and weight.
Right, and like people who are like, yeah, fuck, I love gore, will like, they'll like it, but then also people maybe who don't like that stuff as much will also find something they like about it too. I don't know.
I think many of them are going to be running for the exits by the time the subway scene is done.
I guess,
but who knows? I mean, the Locarno launch was phenomenal for the film.
Yeah,
I mean, that's the thing. It will be embraced by a broader audience.
I hope so. Yeah, I mean, just the fact that it was accepted to Locarno is like proof. You know, like those like you know, Italian you know, auteur film people really sort of took to it.
They all secretly love Fulci films.
Yeah. Well, yeah, they do. They should.
The film has a topical pertinence going beyond just the way it addresses pandemic responses and the question of timing in with elections and politicizing a virus and all of that. The subway scene, which to me is one of the scariest scenes that I've seen in a film in many, many years, just fantastically well executed.
Thanks.
I mean, I'm presuming it's based on the 2014 subway attacks in Taipei?
Yeah, in Taipei, yeah.
Taipei, sorry.
It's all right. Yeah, I mean, it's just one of those things. Like, maybe that was the wrong thing to do. Maybe that's the reason why, like I just found out the other day that the Golden Horse Festival in Taiwan, which is like the Taiwanese Oscars, are just like panning the film. They're not letting us even for like best makeup effects or whatever. They're just like, nope, sorry guys. I think it makes sense though. It's kind of like, you know, well, I mean, I don't know, like doing a school shooting movie, 2014, 15, like whatever, like 6 or 7 years like after, like, what, you know, whatever high profile, like Virginia State.
Columbine was the first of the big ones that made the film industry start second guessing what they were releasing, and had certain films pulled from distribution. Even films like Basketball Diaries.
Sure, I guess I don't know. Like I wanted to just hit on a nerve and do something that was just like that. It was, I guess, in a way, it's like a Taiwanese, like a person from Taiwan kind of couldn't do that because it would kind of haunt them their entire career, and it might fuck them up. Like, no, they wouldn't be able to just do it. But for me, it's just like, oh, he's just a fucking idiot. He doesn't know what he's doing. Like,
well, it's an outsider's perspective too, which I'd imagine they'd respect. Right.
Yeah, that's it. It was kind of like there were just a few things that I could, you know, cross the line, and I could kind of get away with it because just because I wasn't like Taiwanese, you know. Right. And you know, that's just I mean. yeah, that's the long and short of it. You know, I just wanted to go further. I wanted to stand out, and I just wanted to do a couple things. And no one, like, I was like, can I do this? And they were like, yeah, do it. And I was like, okay, I'll do it. And that's how it worked out. But yeah, like, I mean, in you know, in retrospect, you're kind of thinking like, well, fuck, that's a little fucked up too. You know, like, you know, sort of, I don't know, kind of make it an entertaining, fun thing. Like, you know, some people died, like a lot of people died in that thing, and it was basically a guy just pulled out a knife on the subway and just like stabbed the hell out of people like randomly, and then he got caught, and I think he was executed actually. I'm not sure though. Maybe he's still in jail. But yeah, it really shook everybody up. And I think what shook everybody up. Say what? Oh, was he? I feel like I know you. Have I met you before? What's your name? Okay. When was he executed? How far afterwards? Like a couple years? We can look it up. Hold on, let's find it. I'm just joking. Right. This guy, when they asked him, he was just like, I wanted to just kill as many people as possible. And then he was like, what did he say? He said,
did I beat the record? Did he actually say that?
Well, no, that's
the line in the film. I was wondering if that was a quote. If you
that's sort of letting you know, like, yeah, this is about that, you know?
Okay.
And then, what happened? Oh yeah, and also he chose like the point on the subway were like the longest time between stops. So yeah, like it was very, very calculated. But also like the thing that really fucked people up, there was another thing too, where like some guy like cut off a little girl's head in the middle of the street like a few years later, like just like random violence, and it just shakes people up. Sure. That was just something that I wanted to tap into, just sort of like this idea of like, you know, even if you mind your own business, people are just gonna like fuck with you super hard. And like that idea I felt like was like a real fear. And when you're doing a horror movie, you have to, you know, we've seen so much, right? So you have to kind of tap into like a real fear. And I felt like that was something that was in line with what I was tasked to do, right? So that's it.
What's brilliant about that scene is even before there's any hint of violence, the anxiety that comes into play when the salaryman starts speaking to the cat character, and it's like, what are you reading? And all of that, and it's, you know, my skin was beginning to crawl, and every woman that I show in the film too, that was the scene before it ever got violent. Because you know, that line never is followed up by a good experience.
Sure.
When that line from a stranger on public transit.
Right, absolutely. I guess like what that is just kind of like trying to create different kinds of anxiety or different kinds of discomfort. You know, because we just got done with the whole thing with the gym and like running away from the bad guys and everything, and then so it's like, do we just start with more violence? It's like, no, we have to have a little aperitif, you know?
Yeah.
And then and that's just sort of this weird nervous sexual tension thing, and then more violence. And then as that goes, then we start to get introduced a little bit to like the sexual violence, like because like one guy starts fucking another guy, and then like that one guy starts licking that girl's face and everything, that's really what it's all about. It's just like kind of trying to space things out and switch things up enough so that the audience stays engaged, but like it's not too much of the same thing. It's really like
rhythm and tempo.
Exactly. Sure. Like it's entirely just like an exercise in rhythm and tempo, just like that. That's kind of all I was paying attention to. Like, it's not a very like dialogue. Like, it's just survive and just kind of change. You know what the
dialogue's very particular though. I mean, there's a unique kind of cruelty in some of those lines.
Sure, but the template like for the movie or what I was trying, like in terms of like structure, I was really thinking a lot of like Pee-wee's Big Adventure.
Oh.
Yeah. Like, seriously, because here's Pee-wee, look at him, look at his crazy ass breakfast machine, and then it's like, and then after you know who he is, you just put him in different locations, and then like he just does something, and blah, 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 something happens, you move into another location, blah, 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 something happens, but he's always trying to get his bike, right? And then with this one, there's two Pee-wees, there's the girl Pee-wee and the boy Pee-wee,
right? And
then and that's how it works. Just try to find a simple template and just work, and sort of recontextualize it, because you would never think Pee-wee's Big Adventure, but then when I say it, you're like, oh yeah,
it makes a lot of sense.
Right?
Yeah, absolutely. That's fantastic. How good is your Mandarin?
Terrible.
So how did the language barrier come into play then? I mean, you're not only working with the actors in some very severe dramatic moments, but you're blocking fight choreography and there's stunts.
Well, occasionally what'll happen is an American or a European production will come to Taiwan to do, you know, a big movie, like for example, Life of Pi or Silence, the Martin Scorsese. And there's also people who will shoot in China, in mainland China. Like for example, Mulan. They did a Mulan movie, I guess. But the thing is there are people who just like that sort of skill set and that service is available in Taiwan. Like it's just kind of like, you know, full bilingual assistant director.
Oh wow, okay. That makes sense.
And
sure.
the 3-person team, and you know they handle all the nitty gritty, and then I met my Jelly Bai is my cinematographer for The Sadness, and me and him just had a pretty good sort of shorthand because I storyboarded the fuck out of the movie, right? Like,
okay, that'll go far.
Really clear storyboard. I think I might even publish them. I think because they're actually good drawings, they're not just scratchy. So then that really helped a lot, and sort of he'd seen a lot of the movies that I had seen, and you know, I mean my Mandarin is like good enough to just say like go there and do that, you know, or like, you know, faster or slower or whatever.
But for maintaining tone and performance.
Okay, so the performance aspect, it's like, okay, so I know what every line is. I know what all the lines are, and then they get translated. And then I have a dialogue editor to make sure that she doesn't say, that the guy says 8th floor instead of 18th floor, right? So like continuity and stuff. And then I'm just paying attention to just kind of like performance, like feelings.
Okay, yeah,
like emotions and stuff. And just like, does this feel right? Does this feel like passionate or intense enough or whatever? So I'm just paying attention to like feelings and stuff.
I mean, I think as a golden rule, 90% of the time, if their eyes are working, the rest is just going to fall into place.
Yeah, it's all pretty easy. Yeah.
It does not look it.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. Do you want to talk about casting? I mean, the actress who played Kat is just fantastic. The salary man is just unbelievable. And I read somewhere that he's actually a very famous character actor, almost like a Harry Dean Stanton type figure in Taiwanese film. Is that right?
Yeah, like I mean, he's been a working actor for like more than 20 years. Well, I mean, 20 years give or take. And he used to be a Secret Service man, actually. He used to like, you know, protect politicians, I guess. And he's a really righteous dude too. Like he's I've said this a lot, but like in other talks, but like he's very like a mentor. So like to the young, he worked with like Chen Ing-ru, who plays Molly, and Kat, Regina, right? And he like, you know, when we were resetting or whatever, he'd be sitting with them and he'd really just be kind of helping them with their performance and really trying and kind of mentoring them. And he's just great to have on set because he was one of the few people who really kind of got the movie. And because I think he probably watched a lot of our favorite movies, you know, like I think he's just a fan of like all those Anthony Wong movies and stuff. And he's just like, oh, cool, we get to do kind of something like that, you know? So he was a real...
no one does anymore.
Right,
so
I know.
It must have been very exciting for an actor.
He was a real cheerleader for the movie on set and afterwards, too. Yeah, he was just great to have there. He was very, like, helpful and it added credibility to the production, I guess. And also, he came in, you know what? He came in to audition for the president. Yeah.
So like a one-day thing? He was just going to...
Yeah, he was like, because he looked like this... He looked like this politician, Han Guoyu. Yeah, he kind of looked like, because you know he was popular at the time. That guy, or not popular, but he was like in the media a lot. But I kind of knew that, like, I know by the time this gets released, Han Guoyu won't be that a big a deal anymore. So like to make this about that would be silly. It'd be like Yeah. He's not. I mean, my girlfriend's mother loved him. All of her and her sisters were all just like, oh, he's so sexy. You know, I'm just like, you guys are just getting duped by this fella, you know. But in any case, yeah. So like, I mean, I was just like, no, you're the businessman here. Like, no, I don't care about what you've prepared. Read this, and then he did it, and he loved it. Like, and I was explaining the character, like, okay, so you're this guy, and you don't know how to connect with people, and like, you know, you have this middle management job, and like, your boss is 20 years younger than you, and you've never you've only been able to like have sex, or you've only been able to like have a woman even like put up with you if you like pay them to have sex with you, and like when you try to have sex with them you can't get hard, and it's just you're just fucking roiling with frustration and anger and hate and resentment, but then there's this girl in this train and you kind of fall in love with her and like you follow her and keep it secret. One day you're just gonna put all your fucking cards on the table and just like try to try to talk to her, you know? So like this is like a big deal for her. And he's just like, yeah, this is fucking good stuff, pal. And then he just brought that character to life. And originally we were kind of thinking, okay, this guy's gonna be like Jack Nicholson in The Shining or something. But he kind of adds this like there are these moments where he just like becomes this like dark god or something. And it's just like, oh fuck, look at this guy. And then I show those dailies to the composer, Tsuchar, who are Singaporean musicians that live in Melbourne, Australia, that I just found on SoundCloud.
The score is amazing.
Yeah, I love it. I love it a lot. But the thing is showing the dailies to them,
right,
and then them being like, okay, we got to change the music all around for him. And so that was sort of a creative synergy kind of thing, where it was like, you know, this guy adds this, and then these people add that, and then that gives me an idea, and then he gets an idea from that, and it was just like, wow, this is really good. Like that didn't happen like all the time, but there were some times where that happened, and it was just like, I guess this is what, you know, filmmaking is, like a collaborative effort, and it was cool. Very cool like thing to experience, because I come from an animation background, right? Mm-hmm. And everything is all just you doing it, and you tend to it makes you sort of, when you have to work with people, you tend to micromanage them. So like having these experiences is kind of like, oh wow, I can kind of, you know, loosen my asshole a little bit and allow things to kind of happen naturally, so to speak.
All right, let's open up some questions from the audience. Yes.
Right. I just liked, I think that I came up with the title first, and the idea was like, okay, all the bad guys are going to be crying, and that is what will indicate, like, you know, who's infected and who isn't. They'll be like crying. So maybe like that's a nickname for the disease, you know, like, oh, you know, it's the sadness or something. And then when I started shooting the film, I just kind of forgot to do that. And say again? So that's me, man. And then, you know, I just fucking did that, and, you know, I kept going with the thing, and I kept on hanging on to the title. So I just started thinking, okay, well, I can keep the title, and then we'll just call it The Sadness, because it's like it's generally kind of a sad thing to see like a nation fall apart like that. I guess it's pretty sad. But then also I started thinking that like the ending, like the finale, like of just sort of this explosion of like despair is like, okay, maybe it's the finale. The long story short is just that like I meant for it to be one way, but then I kind of forgot what I was doing, but I just wanted to hang on to the title. But it's also an edgy title, so I thought I'd keep it. And it's that's it, you know.
Excellent. Yes.
Yeah, the opening scene with Kat and Jim in bed, I really would have liked to have Regina. I really would have liked to have Regina like naked. I would have liked that to be more sexual, like more like I wanted to, because you don't, you know, at the end when you see her undressed, like you kind of don't get to see anything, and that's kind of on purpose. Like I didn't want to like have this salacious moment where like, you know, oh right, we get to see her scared and naked, you know, like yeah. I want to show her like beautiful and sexy and comfortable like in the beginning, but then you don't really get to see that like later at the end. I thought that would be really strong, and maybe some people would kind of appreciate that, I guess. But that's the only thing I would have changed. But her manager was really like for example, when she takes off her like you saw how like she was undoing her bra strap, and we have this like foggy mirror thing, like that was a body double. Like she wouldn't even undo her bra strap. Like her agent was like, nope, sorry. That's just very. I'd say that's sort of a Taiwanese thing. Like just sort of because she's like 21 years old. But they still treat her like she's 14, you know? And it's not till like maybe she's in her late 20s where she can sort of be a little more sexual in her career, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I can understand actors being protective about that kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like I was, you know, yelling at her or anything.
Sure.
Yeah. Yeah. I was fucking pissed at that fucking bitch. No, just joking. Totally joking.
I will say that opening scene establishes both characters beautifully.
I know.
I'm your alarm clock. I mean, it's in very little dialogue. It just establishes the warmth and the connection.
I just wanted the like. If you have a short time to like, I just wanted the audience to kind of just really fall in love with her, you know. and kind of just be like, want to protect her. Like, oh no, like, I hope she's okay.
I think they do anyways, particularly because she's one of the only beats of optimism in the entire film, and that she's the one person who stops to help strangers, even when the worst things are happening all around her.
The way I kind of resolve that in my mind is that she puts so much effort into saving Molly because she gave, you know, she kind of used Molly to
take her place beside the salary man.
That's kind of like weak. That's sort of a weak thing, but that's just the way I think of it.
That's depressing. Yeah, I hadn't thought about that, but that does line up. Yeah. Okay. So no optimism.
Yeah. Everyone sucks.
Next question, please. Yes. Hit it.
I had this idea of these zombies or whatever, infected people going into like an operating room, and some guy's getting brain surgery done, and then one infected guy pulls his pants down and takes a shit in the guy's brain. But then I thought that was too funny. I thought it was too hilarious. So I didn't want to do it. But I'm keeping.
Was your producer like, Rob? No, it has to be there. What are you?
No, I said
never
it.
Conveyed it to him to get him.
People just looked at me like, what are you, fucking stupid? You know? that's just a joke, you know? Like that. But it's I thought it was really funny. Like, you know what? That idea is for free. Anyone who wants to make a movie where a guy takes a shit in another guy's like exposed brain, I'd love to see it. Maybe in the next Insidious movie or whatever, some guy takes a shit in a guy's brain.
It's what the people want.
It's what the people want. It's not what the people want, but it's what they need.
There you go.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's a choice for health. Next question. There's a lot of lights. It's hard to see in the back. Yes. Yeah, sure.
Yeah. I don't know. Like, I actually found that the sound system in this particular cinema is like a little like mid to high intense, and it's kind of there are parts where it's just like like it just gets really, really like grating on the ear, and I was like, oh, okay, like that's fine, you know. But I mean, the bass was like, you know, the part at the end was like that, all that sounding pretty good. But yeah, I mean, you know, there's sort of this loud, like we had the sound mixer from Midsummer, this guy named Rick Schnupp. Hey man, Hollywood's closed, no one's working. Rick Schnupp will work on the fucking movie. So we called him and he was just like, yeah, this sounds pretty fucking good, man. Some crazy ass Chinese movies. And then he goes and he just mixed it just like a regular movie, and like there's sort of a loudness war that's happening. If anyone here does audio, like there's this war to try to just make the movie like as loud as possible.
Yeah, and it just compresses everything.
Right. And you know, we kind of made that sin too. Like when we played it at Locarno, like the theater was. I think, to be perfectly honest, I think it sounded better at that theater. But you know, whatever. We did our best. Sometimes it sounds like grating and fucked up, and sometimes it sounds like good. And you know, maybe you know, to that guy's question, maybe that's something that I would do over, is I'd take a little time to make sure that in different cinemas it kind of sounds like consistent, you know?
It's so hard though, because the acoustics in each room are so different, and the systems. It's depressing though, because of course, you know, you spend so much time on a mix. Just like when you're doing the grading, the color timing, and then each projection. I mean, the lamp houses can have a different color of light.
Right.
It's the most frustrating thing in the world.
It's true. Yeah, I mean, I guess I don't know how to answer that anymore. Did I answer the? Okay, that's all.
I mean, I like the mix, and like I saw it twice here on my home theater system at home, and it sounded quite different in both places, but I loved it both times.
Yeah.
I mean, there's just so much in that mix.
Yeah.
And again, that score, the sound design is really.
Yeah, it was really cool. The Tsuchar really made like for the soundtrack. It was all his idea, like to use all those like Swanan, like Chinese instruments and stuff. That wasn't really my idea. I gave him like references. Like I was like, here, listen to the soundtrack of like the original, sorry, the remake of The Crazies from 2010. Like I like that. I like that soundtrack. I think I think it's like Paul Newton Howard or something. But I like that soundtrack a lot. And also,
the score's much better than the film.
Sure. I don't think it's all right.
The remake?
Yeah.
I mean, I guess the original, the Romero one's just such a
I like that
item
dude.
to
What's
me
his
at
name?
this point.
Timothy Elephant or whatever his name is.
Is that his name?
I don't
Timothy
know.
Elephant?
Oliphant? Elephant? It's Oliphant.
could
I'm just
well
joking.
be, I don't
I'm
know.
pretending I don't know, but I do know it's Oliphant. Anyways,
Tonight it is.
yeah. So like I thought that soundtrack's pretty good, and then also the Elijah Wood Maniac, like that soundtrack.
Oh, yeah.
Wasn't
that composer just named Rob? Didn't he just
Yeah.
credit himself as Rob?
pretty memorable? You remembered it, huh?
Yeah. Oh, it's a great score.
Yeah. I was like, damn it, that'd be pretty cool if I could just be that like Rob, you know. But then yeah, like he's the one who added all that sort of traditional Chinese stuff, and I was kind of like, okay, you know, if you want to do that, that's cool. But it's a little bit fucked up because I think that people who grow up in Taiwan, they kind of associate those instruments with like festivities and shit.
Oh,
Like,
so that's incredibly subversive.
I guess so, but at the same time, it's kind of like, to me, it sounds like grating and weird and scary, and maybe to most of the people in this audience, like those like those kinds of sounds are like, whoa, that's fucked up. But to them, it's like, oh, cool. Like there's a, you know, if I go outside, I might be able to get like a cookie or something, you know. So it's like it's just a cultural sort of thing, and that the marketing team was like, oh, you know, we shouldn't use those in the trailer because people will think it's stupid, and I'm just like, it's fucked up. Like when you have to kind of like cater to a hypothetical audience that you kind of don't understand, and everything in your heart is telling you that you're right about something, but they're like, no, this just won't work for that, and you're just like, oh, okay, fine. You just if you know, you have to trust like the people who just understand like the market better.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Especially the first feature. It's difficult to say no in a country that you're not entirely familiar with.
Yeah.
You've been there for 10 years now, right? Is that right?
Yeah, like give or take, yeah, about
Okay.
that.
What brought you there in the first place?
Just, you know, like when you're like 25, you make like, you know, adventures.
choices.
Yeah, well, no, just like rash decisions and whatever. Just go and I was doing graffiti a lot at the time, and I just liked the idea of like graffiti in Taiwan, and
Oh, right
because
on.
a lot of people were kind of doing it like from the Bay Area, I know, like California and stuff. And I had a camera, and I thought, oh, I'll take some photos or video of that stuff, and maybe it'll be cool. And I just lost interest in that, and then I started just like working, and then I started getting better at animation, and then the animation brought me to doing commercials, and then the commercials brought me to doing, you know, like corporate work, and then
Right.
after that, like being an in-house in a corporation, doing
It's like doing industrial films? and
yeah,
stuff like
yeah,
that?
yeah, stuff like that, or like sort of, you know, how this piece of technology works, and it all opens up and stuff. And then I just like met Jeff Huang, and he just was like, let's fucking do a movie. And then I tried to help develop a script for like a year that didn't go anywhere, and then the COVID happened, and it was like, okay, we're doing the sadness, and that was it.
Was it difficult to shoot this during COVID? Because some of the
No.
scenes, the subway particularly, people are shoulder to shoulder, they're
Nope.
screaming in each other's faces.
You have to understand that like in Taiwan,
The caseloads were very low, from what I remember. Last year particularly.
there was like so in 2020, like in Taiwan, the pandemic was something that was happening somewhere else.
Right.
It was just not a problem.
Hong Kong did quite well too.
Yeah. There
remarkable.
was a few countries that for whatever reason, like New Zealand did really well as well. Just
Yeah.
because of
There you can understand it more, but when you have like, you know, Taiwan and Hong Kong being close enough to mainland China,
Yeah.
and somehow really being kept away from it.
Well, there's a lot of
Discipline.
reasons for that. It's like
Yeah.
one of the things is there's an election that happened, and the president Tsai Ing-wen who's elected, the Chinese didn't like that much. You know, they thought they were just like, oh, she's like the separatist, right? So they pulled a lot of business out of Taiwan. So there was like, and they also sort of discouraged tourism.
At just the right time to keep the country safe.
That played a big part in it. And then
Beautiful.
also the experience with SARS and everything, and just sort of
Right.
also like Taiwanese. I think it's okay for me to say that I think Taiwanese people like have a decent sense of like civil responsibility. Like
I think it's very evident. Yeah.
and I think it just comes down to like their political situation. It's just kind of like if we don't fucking take care of this fucking dump, then no one will. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
It's not a dump. It's actually a very beautiful country. But anyways, yeah, that's it. I think that's between those reasons. That's kind of why COVID was handled so well. And then there was a recent sort of flare up in Taiwan, and now it's kind of back to like, you know, like 8 cases a day, 4 cases a day, or whatever. And then it's like,
Still.
and then it's like there's a slow vaccine rollout.
Right.
So, but and then when I go back there, I'll have to quarantine for 2 weeks, like no matter how many vaccines I have or how many what do you call it, like a rapid antigen test, PCR test, yeah, all that stuff. So that's it. Any more questions?
We have time for one more question.
My mouth is getting super sticky.
Where?
That guy.
Oh yeah, go for it.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I made that myself.
That's your animation?
Yeah. That's an animation I made like a few years ago, like maybe 2015 or something.
Huh.
And I just was like, originally I wanted to use...
Why do you ask that question then?
Yeah.
Very.
Thanks, dude. Yeah, no, I made that I think in like 2015 or something, and I needed something to be on TV. Originally, what I wanted to use was, oh god, I can't remember the name of it. It's like one of those like band cartoons, and it was like a bunch of like
from the U.S.
Yeah, it was like I think it was like a Tex Avery cartoon or something.
Okay, it's many banned Tex Avery cartoons.
Right, but they're public domain, so I was just looking for something public domain. But then like, I'm
thinking of the Little Red Riding Hood one.
No, it was like a bunch of like savages like like boiling someone.
Yeah.
And then my producer was like, maybe you don't want to use that. And then I was like, okay, well I'll but it's hateful. And then he's like, don't use it. And I was like, okay. So then I chose to just use my old cartoon that I made.
Which I would say works actually even better.
Yeah.
Because
yeah,
it's
actually,
such a freaky image to see.
Yeah. And sort of that idea, like when he kind of turns away and then you see like that wolf like fucking those three women and you're just kind of like, what the, that's weird. Like, I don't know. Is that actually on TV? Who's broadcasting that? Why would anyone broadcast that?
Yeah, I took it to mean that somebody at the station was clearly out of their minds and just putting on the most obscene things they can.
But
find.
isn't that a funny I am evil now. I'm going to put on a weird tape. It's like it doesn't make any sense. I just thought it like in the broad strokes, Mitch. You know what I'm saying? Broad
hilarious.
strokes. Yeah.
But he's not going to. The person's not going to. Assuming gender, but the person's not going to attack like physical people. The person's just going to curate from a distance.
Yeah, exactly. I'm going to set the tone. I'm going to set a creepy, weird tone for all the sexual violence and murder. Yeah.
All right. I guess on that note, did you have any closing statements you want to make?
I mean, so I won that award. I just wanted to say that, like, I couldn't have done it without Jeffrey Huang, and also David Barker, who's a guy who helped to kind of pull the movie together. Also, Wong Tze-Chang, the businessman, aka Johnny Wong, is amazing actor, and I don't think I'll ever like make a movie in Taiwan or elsewhere without
him,
without at least consider like trying to get him into it somehow.
Excellent.
I would have liked to bring him here today, but he's just he couldn't get a vaccine in time, and yeah, I know, right? And then yeah, I mean, just the whole cast, they were awesome. The whole crew was awesome. Like, whatever, acceptance speech and stuff, But yeah, like I mean, I had a great time making the movie, and I learned a lot, and I want to make more movies, and like, and also like again, like this festival was extremely influential in sort of my desire to pursue like filmmaking and stuff. So it's really a big deal for me to walk away with the fucking Maltese Falcon over there. Yeah.
That is so good to hear, man.
Yeah.
Well, may you make many, many more films, come back many more times, win many more awards.
Thanks. I'll do my best. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, Rob Jabbaz. Oh, and do blog about this, do post about this. Very few people have seen this movie in the world so far. So word of mouth will go eons. It'll go the distance and help this film come out. Although I imagine it's never going to get an R rating in the US.
No, I don't think so. Although, I mean, maybe they'll just release some like cut up version, which is, I don't care. As long as there's like...
It'll be a medium length, but yeah.
Yeah, I don't really care. Like chop up the movie, who cares? As long as the real version is out there, like available, then it's fine. I don't really care. I'm just trying to make that money,
Right on. Thank you very much.
Bye. Bye-bye.